Oil shock to ballot shock. How the Iran war could flip governments worldwide in 2026. What looks like a regional war centered around Iran is rapidly morphing into a global political earthquake where the real battlefield not just be in Middle East but inside ballot boxes across dozens of countries because the disruption of the Strait of Hormuz achieved with relatively low cost tactics like drones and maritime mine has effectively throttled nearly a quarter of global oil supplies and a significant portion of LNG flows, triggering a sharp energy shock that is already pushing crude prices to extreme levels and setting off a chain reaction across global supply chains, including fertilizers critical for food production, meaning this is no longer just about geopolitics, but about the cost of living for billions of people. And as a fuel and food prices climb, inflation, already fragile due to previous trade conflicts and economic strain, is expected to surge again, forcing central banks into a corner where they must raise interest rate to control prices. But in doing so, they choke economic growth, discourage investment, and make it dramatically more expensive for governments drowning in record to debt to refinance their obligations, creating a perfect storm where economies slow down while financial pressure intensifies. And history shows that this exact combination is politically explosive because voters consistently punish incumbents during economic distress, regardless of whether they directly caused it, opening the door for populist and extreme political forces to gain traction. And this dynamic is already beginning to play out in places like Europe, where rising domestic inflation and economic dissatisfaction are shifting voter sentiment, while in Israel, the war's outcome is deeply intertwined with political survival as leadership battles, internal criticism, fiscal strain, and public trust issues under the shadow of conflict. And in the United States, the situation is equally volatile as the economic consequences of war collide with existing tariff driven pressures, keeping inflation above confront level and limiting the ability of Federal Reserves to cut interest rates, which in turn restricts economic stimulus and complicates the government massive debt refinancing needs, placing additional strain on political leadership ahead of crucial shocks and elections. These are likely to linger long enough to shape voter behavior, meaning the true impact of the Iran conflict may ultimately be measured not just in military outcomes, but in shifting political power across more than 40 countries heading to election cycles as a prolonged disruptions in global energy flows, ensuring that economic pain translates into political change, making this war one of the most consequential hidden drivers of global democracy in 2026.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.